Introducing LT Defense Tactical Gear, your ultimate solution for top-notch protection and performance in the field. Our armor bundles provide unmatched safety and comfort, while our battle belts and holsters ensure quick and easy access to your gear. Stay prepared for any situation with our high-quality medical supplies, designed to keep you ready for action at all times. Looking to enhance your skills? Our firearms training programs will take your proficiency to the next level. Trust LT Defense for all your tactical gear needs and gear up for success on the battlefield.
Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Into the Weeds podcast here on Military Broadcast Radio. I'm Amber.
And I'm Alora.
And we thank you for joining us today.
Yeah.
We have had an action-packed, well, I've had more of an action-packed couple of weeks.
I've been at home. So I've been chilling, but yeah.
Yes, but you did have a birthday.
Yeah, let's not bring that up. I did have a birthday. Yeah, no, it was all right. It was all right. My car broke down and I ended up having an allergic reaction. And anyway, but how was your week? My mom, Amber, she was out of town. She went down to Atlanta. So what was that all about? She's been not telling me everything so that she has more stuff to talk about.
Yeah, we're actually going to get into it a little bit later. I just wanted to kind of touch base and let everybody know what's going on. And sorry we missed last week. I had Matt Oakley was supposed to come on and his flight got canceled. Not that he was coming here, but his flight got interrupted. And so he wasn't able to make the appointment. So hopefully we can reschedule that and bring you Matt, because I'm very interested to hear what he has to say about growing up in a military environment. We've heard a lot of people who have been in the military, but not a lot of people who have just been a part of the whole scene.
I know quite a few military kids, but
I'm talking about like
on here.
Yeah.
I was like, I know quite a few military kids, but yeah, on here.
No,
you're right.
I know quite a few too.
Okay. Whatever you say. I was not a military kid though, really.
No.
Just for the record, since they were both injured pretty shortly into being in the military by the time I was born.
Well, Dad was still in the National Guard after you were born.
Was he? For how long?
For a little bit. For like
that checks out for a little bit. Okay.
For like another year, I think.
Another year. Okay. So I totally remember that.
Yeah, I know.
100%.
Exactly. I'm just saying technically.
No, I'm just playing. But anyway, I didn't have to. Well, I did have to move around, but that was for vastly different reasons.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah.
Okay, so I did want to talk about Marcellus Williams, our last podcast. I just kind of wanted to talk about that and how disappointed I am in humanity in the state of Missouri, my home. Well, not my home state, but the state I live in.
Where we're at right now.
Yeah, and just how. You said it best, I think, the other day. It was a turning point in our lives.
Yeah, it kind of, I mean, I don't want to make it sound too dramatic or like I am a victim of this or anything, because this really had something to do with us. But as far as like our ideology and the way that we feel about certain things, it was kind of like just a turning point, kind of radicalized us a little bit more than we had ever expected. But no, yeah, it's really heartbreaking.
It is.
And first and foremost, I want to make it very clear. We'll probably take this down eventually, but his blood is on Governor Parsons' hands. So he had the chance to stop it or intervene. He's the person who decided to shut down the committee that the prior governor had opened up. And there are some rumors and allegations of maybe him having some involvement, not in like any sort of murder or anything, but just maybe that he was being looked into by some people. And I'm not really going to get into it because I don't know what's true or false. But it just seems kind of like he had a lot more to gain by this innocent man's death. So
yeah.
in my opinion.
I'm
Don't come for me.
I'm heartbroken and
Yeah.
disappointed, and I definitely know that it has challenged my belief in the powers that be that are supposed to care about us
kidding.
and care about, justice and truth in the American way. And I feel like this is a great example of just how crappy our system is. And I am sad to hear that this man lost his life. But it's been done and there's nothing we can do about it now, but we can
prevent things in the future. And a big organization or company or whatever that was speaking out about Marcellus's case is the Innocence Project. And the Innocence Project is currently talking about another man, and I had it on the tip of my tongue just a second ago. I might have to look it up on my phone. In fact, actually, we'll do that in a second. But there's another man that they are fighting for right now that is facing the death penalty, and he's an autistic man that did not get diagnosed with autism until he was well into his adult life. And I believe that his child passed away, and I think that they said that it was something along the lines of shaken baby syndrome, but it wasn't, and he didn't take the life of his child. So I need to definitely educate myself on that more. Sorry, I've had a lot going on this past week, and I just found out about it, which that's a sad thing. We only just found out about Marcellus like right before it happened.
2 or 3
And
days.
if you look at these pictures here, we attempted to have some sort of a protest. I'm sorry, I'm not laughing. It's not funny, but I'm just laughing at the fact that what happened was just it was just sad. I'm laughing to cope, I suppose. It was just really sad. We went out, we stood in the rain. We did try to reach out to, a few different people.
I reached out to a bunch of people.
I reached out to some people too, posted some videos, and it was really disappointing that nobody ended up turning out. But I also know that it was kind of a last minute thing, but it's also just kind of like, I don't think you're a bad person if you don't go to protests and stuff. But at the same time, it's like there were some people that I talked to specifically that are the type of people to protest, are the type of people to do this, that, and the other. And I don't know. I don't know. But I'm not trying to act like we did, something great or anything. We just did all that we felt like we could do.
I felt like just the act of going and doing that, and I had my sign too. I just took a picture of Alora. I don't have
a picture of you. I thought I sent it to you.
I didn't put it on here. I forgot to.
Oh, okay.
So anyways, it was really actually raining pretty bad that day.
We couldn't even stay that long because we were absolutely soaked. Our signs were falling apart. And then right as we were leaving, a policeman approached us. I'm not very happy with the police for a lot of reasons. I don't like police, but I do have to say that he was really the only person that was kind to us while we were out there.
He was.
And he actually seemed like he cared, not trying to, defend the police. I'm just saying, like, he was the only person who seemed like he gave a shit. We even tried to like talk to a couple of people on the street, and this was like the first protest we ever tried to do, and it wasn't even much of a protest.
It wasn't really a protest. You have to have a permit.
That's what I was gonna say. We had to have a permit anyway. Things were a little. It wasn't put together, but
it wasn't a real protest. It was just us going out there and saying, "Hey, this genuinely matters to us.
This isn't okay
this
at all.
Sucks." And we were in front of the Capitol building. Then we walked all the way down to the governor's mansion and stood in front of
pictures of that.
I do.
No, I was not happy with the governor. I wanted to leave this sign that's behind us because this is the one we left in the car because we had 3 of them and only 2 people. But this is probably the most well-made one too. But anyway, so I wanted to leave that sign at the governor's gate of his mansion, but I knew that it was very possible. I know this sounds petty and stupid, but I felt like they were going to try and get us on like littering or like something really petty just to like
never know.
Just you know what I mean? Like, and I really didn't feel like dealing with that. I don't know. Not over. I don't know. I really had nothing more to say about that. I just
no, it was it was an experience. And didn't you find it weird that no one would like make eye contact with us when we were walking and standing there?
Oh yeah, everyone, like a couple people I saw, like especially people that were driving past, they would kind of like a little look, a little bit and try and see and read what it says, but nobody cared. Like and I understand everyone was going about their day. And like we said, it was raining, so we weren't expecting people to just, come out in droves, but
Yeah.
It just was a little disappointing, I have to say. So
yeah. So we're just gonna leave that there. That's our
Mhm.
experience with the Marcellus Williams.
But our experience aside, because I don't want to turn this into us talking about how it affected us or what we did.
Yeah.
I just want to make it very clear that this was a serious miscarriage of justice.
Mhm.
And the fact that they did this, to me personally, I can't see much else outside of some sort of a racial motivation.
Mhm.
And I think it might have been a couple weeks ago, I might have said something about how I never really saw racism in Florida. And now that I've
Mhm.
kind of looked back at it, a little towards the end of us living there where we were living, there were a couple areas that definitely were like
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
And that just kind of, I guess that kind of just didn't stick out in my mind just
You
because I've
didn't-
seen so much literal injustices since I've been here. But
Mhm.
yeah, we just want to say that this feels very racially motivated. And I really don't know what else to say. Rest in peace, rest in power, Marcellus. And
Yeah.
we're praying for your family. And, you know, I don't even know what to say. But, you know, he, for anyone who doesn't know, Marcellus was a devout Muslim.
Mm.
And I believe his last words were something along the lines of, praise be to Allah through all things, or, and it's
Mhm.
just, I'm sorry, I should have had that pulled up on my phone. I just
No,
wasn't
you're fine.
prepared for this podcast. Again, long week, but it just, yeah.
Mhm.
I don't even
And
know
I
what to
didn't really
say.
talk to you about what we were talking about because I wanted to be more
Yeah.
in the moment.
Also, this
So-
happened like 2 weeks ago, and
Yeah.
for some reason I thought that we had already done something on it. But
Mhm.
yeah, just very frustrating thoughts and love and everything to anyone that is experiencing something like this.
Mhm.
A lot of people are falsely accused, and I have an odd relationship with the idea of the death penalty, but I think in the very, very least, if there's any sort of reasonable doubt, that should be enough to pull you out of that, because reasonable doubt is what got Casey Anthony out of getting in trouble. It was the fact that they didn't want to put
Yeah.
this young looking, timid looking woman to death. You know what I mean? And, he doesn't look cute and timid. He's not like a little girl. And, to a lot of people that have something wrong with him, clearly, he seems intimidating. He seems threatening. And I think profiling people and not even like accepting the evidence is just, yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry. I've kind of been rambling. on this.
No. It's hard to put into words. It's hard to even really understand what you think, because like we've said, this is our first like real wake up call. I mean, we've had many in different ways, but this is the first time where I'm like, oh dang.
Our personal government in our direct area has something against people, will not fight for the justice of the citizens of the state, even when there's evidence, so
Yep.
it's crazy.
Okay, well, we're going to go to break on that note, and then we're going to come back and talk about my week.
Yeah, I'm interested to hear about it.
Yeah, so I had a really great time. So this is Single This Summer by Matt Oakley, who hopefully will reschedule our interview. Here we go. Stay tuned. Me.
Bar stools, cigarette smoke, where the dive bar band's playing all the wrong notes. Them dollar bills still hanging on the wall. This ain't no place for her kind at all. She had them red bottoms on in this blue collar town. There's only two reasons why girls like her come around. She either took a wrong turn back in Austin, or she's looking for love cause she lost it. We were two flames burning, red wine and bourbon, leaning on each other for a little southern comfort, just trying to set the mood right. a little southern comfort, just trying to set the moon right under the neon moonlights. She was chasing that freedom, love a man, leave him, trying to make her mine by the end of the night. I'm a good line away from her number, trying to keep her from being single this summer. Single this summer.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Welcome back to Military Broadcast Radio and Into the Weeds podcast.
Wait, I thought this was Talk to a. Have you heard about that? She got her own podcast.
Oh no, I didn't.
Yeah, and Jake Paul's like the owner or producer or whatever of the company it's under. It's really boring.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Talk to a. I gotta say it was
Okay.
kind of clever name, but anyway, sorry. Anyway,
Okay, so let's get into the weeds. Actually, not into the weeds. Let's just get into what I did this
let's
week.
just talk. Talk to a.
Okay, so we did get to go see Theo Vaughn for, I guess we did it for Laura's birthday, kind of. Just
Yeah.
It was hella expensive. Hella expensive.
I felt really bad. So I did enjoy it. I did like it, but I wasn't like a huge Theo Vaughn fan. So when he told me that you spent as much as you did, I was like, oh my God, I feel really bad. But I was like, okay. She's like afraid of heights. So we had to sit like a little lower. So she didn't freak out.
Yeah, we got pretty close. I mean, we weren't very far at all.
No, and Charles, he got free tickets from his school and then he didn't tell anybody. We could have had like somebody get him for free, or he
Yeah.
could have just stood outside of his campus and just like, I'm sure someone would have taken him,
He
you
had
know?
3.
That's what I'm
free
saying.
ones,
He
yeah.
had 3 free tickets. It
Mhm.
wasn't even like
Sorry,
2
guys.
of them. So yeah, if you guys would have been in the Springfield area.
Yeah, well.
no, but
My son didn't tell us until
no,
way
I know.
later.
I'm just
But
playing.
yeah. Okay, so then I
Oh, what's
went
that?
to Atlanta for the military conference or military influencer conference. So I'm
Mm.
just going to show you some of my pictures from my escapades. I went to Hattie B's, which is a staple in Nashville, I believe, but they have them in
Gotcha.
Memphis and Atlanta. It's hot chicken sandwiches, and I guess the lore is that one day this guy was cheating on his wife
Oh,
or girlfriend. He came home and wanted something to eat, so she loaded his chicken with cayenne pepper and hot
Okay.
sauce and stuff like that. And then when he ate it, he was like, "Dang, this is good." So they ended up making hot chicken sandwiches.
hot chicken sandwiches for cheating on your girl. I like it.
Yeah.
Sometimes things happen, but
So I got the medium, and my husband got the ghost pepper. And I wish I had gotten pictures of my husband. He had tears rolling down his face, snot coming out of his nose. It was hilarious.
which is so funny because he used to just put ghost peppers and Carolina Reaper in his ramen, and
Yeah.
we literally have like a Carolina Reaper plant, but it hardly ever gets used.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't been cooking as much lately.
That's
either.
fair. Well, now she has allergies. I was actually thinking, I was like, I
Yeah.
thought some wheat that you
Yeah,
can't eat.
wheat
So unless
in
it was
the-
a potato bun, which is even
No.
worse.
Yeah, I can't have potatoes
She
either.
can't have anything. She is like, ugh.
So the wheat in the bun and wheat on the and there's probably some dang milk in the batter. Who knows?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's absolutely buttermilk. And you know what? I want to make it clear. I'm not trying to play victim here, but you have such good cooking. It really is. It really is a tragedy because,
I went from cooking all the time, these elaborate
Yeah.
meals.
oh my God, so
nothing.
good. Yeah. And she'll find all these random recipes on Pinterest. And then she went on a Mediterranean diet for a while, which was
Mhm.
really good because I
Mhm.
am a sucker for Mediterranean food.
Mhm.
I mean, I was with a Greek guy for like a few years and I got a lot of Mediterranean food, and that was like the only good thing about that relationship. But anyway, I shouldn't be saying that.
Okay, so then we went to the Laughing Skull Comedy Lounge,
Mm.
and we had a really good time. I
What was funny? The stuff there, Theo Vaughn.
Honestly,
I'm sure the stuff there.
the stuff there was funnier.
Yeah. I was honestly pretty drunk during Theovon, so I don't remember that much of it. And I was kind of also like in a mood. And so I was like, okay.
No, actually, yeah, Theo. I think Theo was going through something that night.
Oh, he was. Okay, so y'all are gonna totally ignore the fact that I'm wearing like pajama pants, but like he's walking like this the whole night. Like, just like really like awkward, just pacing, like bent over with his legs extended like crazy. Oh my goodness, that had me dying. That made me laugh harder than anything.
And he was sweating as soon as he came out. It wasn't like
Dad said he looked like he was really fucked up.
yeah,
so
I don't know if he was or not.
I didn't notice it, but what do I know? I don't notice anything. I'm not observant.
I will say that there's a stark difference between Theo Von on stage and Theo Von in his podcast.
Have you seen Joe Rogan's stage performances? He
Yes.
gets intimate with that stool.
I don't know
He's
what you're
not-
talking about.
He's not. I like the podcast, but he is not funny outside of the podcast. I hate to shit on him, but oh my goodness.
Well, I love his podcast, so
No, again, I'm
Mhm.
not. I like his podcast. There was this thing. It was like a media. I don't remember what the name of it, but it was basically like a chart of different media outlets and like how much misinformation they state. And he was kind of like, he wasn't like at the bottom at all, but he was definitely kind of like a little far down. But I like Joe Rogan. I like Joe Rogan.
well, you always check your sources all the time. But okay, so here's the Metro Diner and Bar. It was about a block away from our hotel, and they have
Good shit.
amazing food. I took a picture of the cakes because your dad was drooling over them the whole time. And my husband actually has, he's allergic to mammal products as well. We have a tick-borne illness called alpha gal, which we aren't allowed to eat mammal products.
Manimal.
Danimals.
Danimals. The Danimal. They still won't announce who won the Danimals Cruise sweepstakes. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. They just like bombarded one of the Sprouse twins about it. It's like a whole thing online. Who really won the Danimals Cruise sweepstakes?
Oh,
Anyway,
that'd
sorry.
be interesting. Okay.
I would like to know.
Yeah, me too. Okay, so this is at the Military Influencer Conference. This is Terry and Joey and myself. And Terry and Joey are DJs and hosts on Military Broadcast Radio. They have their own shows. Terry is Tracer Rounds and Joey is Fire Social Network, I believe. Joey talks about finances and Terry talks to veterans about, usually it's music and veteran services and things like that.
I need help with my finances.
We'll talk to Joey.
I just need to stop having Chick-fil-A all the time.
Yeah.
I know, controversial Chick-fil-A, blah, blah, blah. But there's one like really close to my job. So sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm on my break. Okay, might just go get some chicken minis or like a spicy chicken biscuit.
Well, you love that food anyways, so don't even try.
I'm so bad. Okay, so I hyper fixate on foods,
Yeah.
and right now love Chick-fil-A and their buffalo sauce. I've never even tried the Chick-fil-A sauce. I don't care. Chick-fil-A sauce. I'm not gonna fucking try and impersonate that chick. You know what I'm talking about, right?
No, I don't.
You've never seen the Chick-fil-A sauce video? Okay,
Mm-mm.
I'll have to show that to you later. It's like this girl, she's actually talking to her dad, but she's like, no Chick-fil-A sauce. Anyway. Sorry. No Chick-fil-A sauce.
That's my husband
That's
and me.
so old, by the way. To anyone watching that, like, why is she talking about this like 6 months later? It's just because I don't know. Just made me think about it.
Well, I hardly
Not
ever
that
know
behind on
anything.
stuff. Yeah, I don't know.
You said that really swiftly. Yeah.
Sorry, my bad. I don't know anything either. I don't know what to say. But anyway,
Okay, so
let's get
that's
back
my
to your stuff.
husband. Yes, he's a whole foot taller than me. I know you can't really see it, but yeah, he's 6'6".
They can definitely see there's a bit of a difference there. Yeah, 6'6". That's why I'm so tall. Oh, no one can even tell I'm tall.
Okay, this is the
That's
sock
beautiful.
wall. This is all made out of socks.
Oh.
And I think I can't remember. Sick fit socks. They want to
Sick fit
change the
socks.
world with socks. And so
You love socks.
I do love socks. I mean, I really love socks.
I mean, you heard it in the voice tone or the voice change.
I really love
She
socks.
really loves socks. Yeah, no, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. They're pretty cool.
Okay. Oh, and then this is some
Okay.
some representative
Some representative. Okay.
in
You don't remember her name?
I don't remember her name, and I don't remember this gentleman's name, but I believe he was a
Fake fan. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Sorry.
She's a Georgia representative
Mm.
of some sort. I'm not sure.
That clears it up.
Yeah, I know. And then this gentleman was a colonel, I believe, or a general. I know it's a huge difference, but I genuinely can't remember.
He did something in the military and she lives in Georgia. All questions answered. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to roast you over here.
So that man and that woman and this man here were on this panel for Black Ops, and it was basically just talking about trying to recognize all of the men and women of African American descent who have served in the military, all the branches, and the stuff that they've done to help our country and the world. So, and then, well, that's a bad picture of Donnell Rollins. I don't know why I did that one.
No, you're roasting.
Okay. Well, this is Donnell Rollins and Killer Mike. And I do not remember this young lady, this lady's name, but she is a comedian. Donnell is a comedian, and Killer Mike is a rapper. Funnily enough, I had never heard anything of Killer Mike's before, and he actually got up there and rapped for us and everything, and I was super close, so that was fun. Donnell was hilarious, and she was hilarious too.
Donnell or Theo Vaughn?
Donnell,
man. Yeah. She's roasting Theo Vaughn out here, but we have a number one Donnell stan.
But I do, I really do like Theo Vaughn. I just think it was a bad night for him, honestly.
Oh yeah, I didn't dislike it. I enjoyed myself, but yeah, I can understand what you're saying. A lot of times I'm really disappointed by comedy shows recently, like especially like the specials on Netflix and stuff. For the last couple of years, they've all kind of, I mean, maybe not all of them. I think Shane Gillis is all right, but
yeah,
there's been a lot of really disappointing. I just realized I'm totally out of the frame.
Oh,
you know, I cannot keep this chair in one spot.
You've got to put a carpet down.
Oh my goodness, it's so bad. The other day, one of our guests, I can't remember which one it was, but they watched me fly away.
Joel.
Oh, it was. I don't think it was Joel. It was I totally forgot his name. He was doing the trivia stuff.
Oh, Dr. No.
Yeah, well, that's
no.
his.
Yeah.
No.
Mr. No.
Mr. No.
JJ. Sorry, JJ.
I felt bad that I forgot your name, JJ. Well, I didn't forget it. I just, my brain. But anyway, yeah. I was scooting.
Oh, well, Joel says they're not funny. Well, these people are funny. Even Killer Mike was really funny.
Who were you saying isn't funny?
I think maybe
Theo Vaughn.
Theo Vaun is actually super funny.
Theo Vaughn's funny.
He is.
A lot of people I find more funny in their natural habitat. It's like Dad, if he tried to stand up, crash and burn. But like if he's just kind of doing his own thing, it's like, oh, okay, you're funny.
Yeah, my husband is actually really hilarious, and Alora is really hilarious too.
You can't tell on the podcast, though.
No, you can't.
Doesn't translate. I know, just my devilish good looks.
She has me rolling. Her and her dad and her brother. My son is extremely witty, but he's like stealthy witty.
He's so like quiet and unassuming, and like he'll not say anything for like a really long time, and then he'll just come out with like the sickest roast you've ever heard in your life, but it's in like a clever way. And there's like double entendres, and it's like, okay.
Yep. Yeah, so I'm the one in the family who's looking around like, are you guys serious? Is this a joke? They accuse me of not having a sense of humor.
Oh, okay. Now you're making it seem like we're just bullying you. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't catch on to things.
No, you do have a sense of humor. It's just a different sense of humor than we are. Or we're just
smart and witty and very fast.
I'm not gonna go with that. I'm gonna say we're all insufferable and annoying. And you just don't get it. And the girls that get it, and the girls that don't. And there's no hate to it. That's fine. Okay. I'll enjoy being insufferable.
Yeah, well, I enjoy having you guys around because you guys make life very interesting and very fun.
And I enjoy having you around, Mom.
Okay, well, on that note, we're going to take a break real quick, and we're going to listen to Never Been to Spain by Andrew. Well, it's a cover by Andrew Wiscombe.
I've also never been to Spain. Never been out of the U.S.
Yeah, you haven't.
Have you ever been to you went to Jamaica. That's where you went.
Yeah.
Anyway, stay tuned and maybe I'll get a free trip. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned.
Well, I've never been to Spain, but I kinda like the music. See, the ladies are insane there, and they sure know how to use it. They don't abuse it, never gonna lose it. I can't refuse it. Well, I've never been to England, but I kinda like the Beatles. Ooh, I headed for Las Vegas, only made it out to Needles. Can you feel it? Must be near it. Feels so good, feels so good. Well, I've never been to heaven, but I've been to Oklahoma. Oh, they tell me I was born there, but I really don't remember. In Oklahoma, not Arizona. What does it matter? What does it matter? Well, I've never been to Spain, but I kinda like the music. Say the ladies are insane there, and they sure know how to use it. They don't abuse it, never gonna lose it. I can't refuse it. They don't abuse it, never gonna lose it. I can't refuse it.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Hey, welcome back to Into the Weeds podcast here on Military Broadcast Radio. And we are talking about my trip to Atlanta to the Military Influencers Conference. I actually went to it because since I'm a part of Military Broadcast Radio, I wanted to see, first of all, what the conference was about. I also wanted to connect with people, and we also wanted to try and get some partnerships or donations or sponsorships for MBR. And we're working on a few things, and hopefully they come to fruition. So that's why we were there. My husband went with me. He drove me because I do not like driving on the highway.
I don't blame you, especially down there.
Oh.
Shoot. And you can't speed on the highways in Georgia. They will get your ass.
The whole way from Georgia to until we got into Illinois, it was just nothing but cops the entire way.
I know.
It was wild. And yeah, so I don't like driving. My husband drove me. Thank you, Charles. I definitely need
home.
Yes, and Alora stayed home. But
they left on my birthday.
We did leave on her birthday, but it's the very first time, and she's 24, so don't act like
I'm 24 and all my friends were out of state. So
I'm sorry.
it's okay.
No, but I had fun.
I did it, but it's okay. It's not your fault.
Okay, so like I said, I went to the comedy club, the Laughing Skull, and we also went to it's a restaurant comedy club, the Vortex or the Laughing Skull. And boy, I tell you what, we had some interesting times. We went there twice.
Oh,
The first night we got there, we went and saw Kiana Dancy. She wrote 2 books. Actually, I think she's Dr. Kiana Dancy.
oh,
And
yeah. Don't forget the doctor.
yes.
That's
And
important.
so we went and we sat in a couple of rows from the stage, and she found out that my husband is a preacher and talked to him for a little bit about stuff. It was pretty funny. It was really
Yikes.
cool.
I would have been so not that there's anything wrong with it, but I'm glad I wasn't there.
No, it was good. She said it was recorded, so hopefully sometime it comes out.
Find it on your little Facebook shorts or
Yeah,
something.
I know. So we talked to her afterwards, and I'm going to try and get her on the podcast. She was very
Oh.
receptive,
Okay.
and she has been in TV shows. She had her own talk show.
Really?
Yeah,
I feel bad I've never heard of her.
in Atlanta. Actually, that picture right there on the back,
Mhm.
I've seen that picture before. But when she first came out on stage,
I don't think you guys will be able to see it, but keep talking.
yeah, when she first came out on stage,
Oh,
I was like, she doesn't look familiar. But
Oh.
yeah, I hate how the camera does that.
Yeah.
She didn't look familiar, but then when I looked on that back page, I was like, I've seen that picture before.
She actually looks more familiar on the front page than she does on the back page for me. I just
Yeah.
can't put my finger on it.
Yeah, so she has a journal to go with it, and she has this nonprofit organization about getting rid of your baggage. And
Oof, it's gonna be
yeah,
a lot for me.
yeah, so she's got the book and the journal to go with it, and so I'm gonna get into it and see what it's all about, and I'm
Yeah.
excited to talk to her.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and then we had I think there were like not 8, maybe like 6 comics altogether that came up that night. They were really good. So afterwards, we
Her or Theo Vaughn?
Her.
I just keep asking that. That's so dumb.
No, and she made it very personable, but of
Yeah,
course
no,
it was
she
a
seems cool.
completely different venue. I
Yeah.
mean, Theo Vaughn was in a stadium.
Yeah.
She was in a very small room, and there were probably like 6 rows altogether.
Oh, okay.
And so it was very intimate, and it was just so much.
I've never been to a real comedy club. I think the only comedy shows I've even been to were the Theo Vaughn one that we went to, and then I saw the Impractical Jokers back in like 2019, 2018.
Yeah.
And I took a bunch of edibles, and I don't remember anything except for one story that I'm probably not going to share
Yeah,
here.
let's not share it.
But that's the only thing. That's the only thing I remember. And then they were having a cruise leave the next morning from the port since we were living in Florida at the time.
Uh-huh.
That would have been fun, probably.
That probably would have been
But
really
I feel like
fun.
all the people that would like buy tickets there, you know what I mean? I don't know if they're kind of people I would want to hang out with, but I got roasted for this like maybe a month ago. But biggest celebrity crush is Q. I can't lie. Q from Practical Jokers is my biggest celebrity crush. I was in a room full of girls, and they're like, I like this person and I like that person and whatever. And I didn't even think that my like selection was that controversial. Maybe I'm just on the wrong side of TikTok because okay, so the ones I gave were Q, obviously, Matthew Lillard, which that's super common, and they were kind of like, okay, we see that. But the one that really made them okay was Jerry Springer. Not Jerry Springer. Oh my God, Jerry Trainer, not Jerry Springer. I like old men, but not that old. Holy shit, Jerry Springer. My great grandpa used to watch hella Jerry Springer.
Which
Okay.
is hilarious.
Clarify, Alora does not have a crush on Jerry Springer. Jerry Trainer from iCarly. And they gave me the weirdest look. So like, okay. And then like this guy that I've been seeing for a while, he asked me what my celebrity crushes were, and I don't normally like do it, but I was like, oh, these are kind of like, you know, they're inconspicuous, they're not too crazy. I told him, he's like, All right. He's like, well, he noticed one thing in common, which also had a thing in common with him. I'm not going to keep talking. We're going to stop talking. Anyway, let's keep going.
Okay.
Keep the
So
ball rolling. I'm sorry I interrupt too much.
no, you're fine. Actually, it gives it a little levity.
Yeah, I don't know. So now you know, Alora. Tell me in the comments, are those controversial? Can anyone agree with at least one of them? Please tell me I'm not crazy, or maybe I'm a little crazy, but like
So
crazy for Q.
Q reminds me of Rosie O'Donnell.
Well, okay, maybe old school Q before he got the beard, but now he's kind of got like the salt and pepper thing. Kind of fun. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. When I was talking about Chris Novoselic the other day, I even said he was kind of fine. I don't know if you're not sensing a trend here. Anyway,
I don't know what happened to her. She's got a dad who's in her life.
Oh, yeah, I don't have daddy issues. I've had to say that quite a few times. Anyway, sorry. Moving on. So you went to 2 different comedy clubs, and then you were talking about this book, and then I didn't know if you were going to talk some more about some of the things that happened.
Yeah,
there.
So
I was trying to remind you what you're talking about.
Yeah, so the first time we went and we saw Kiana Dancy.
Yeah.
So she was selling her books outside, and we were talking to her, and we actually ended up praying with a few women who asked us, to pray with them.
Hey,
and so we did.
You know?
And we had several homeless men come up to us, and they kept asking for money. And I wasn't thinking about it. And I just handed the $40 that I was going to give Kiana for the books.
Oh, yeah.
And then I ended up selling her, but still.
That was the better thing to do anyway.
Yeah. So but then they like came out of the woodwork and asking for it and trying to get Dad to go. Can you imagine? Probably a 5'8", very, very skinny man, homeless man, like emaciated, coming up to Dad and squaring up to him at 6'6".
Squared up to him?
It would be like, you can go to the ATM again. You can do that. Go do that right now. And Dad was like, I can't do it. So we actually ended up having issues with our cards because
you pulled out too much or something.
No, just traveling. Our bank is stupid.
Our bank sucks
really bad.
Oh my god.
So they had me. I had anxiety the entire time. Every time I'd go to check out, I'd be like, "Is it going to work?"
I was having issues with my card like a month or 2 ago, and I was having the same thing. I was like, what do you mean it doesn't work?
I promise I have money.
He's like, I know I have $5. I'm like, I swear I'm not that bad right now. Every once in a while, though.
Yeah. So that was the first night. And then the second night, we went to the Vortex. We didn't catch the comedy club that night, but we met with a person off of TikTok, not Sorry Charlie.
Mm-hmm.
And
how was that?
That was very fun. We had a really good time. We got to talk about our dislike of Gypsy Rose Blanchard, and we spent a lot of time outside talking to people, and just we ended up being crazy. It was really fun, though. It was really, really fun.
How many beads did you get?
Beads?
That's a Mardi Gras thing.
Oh, yeah.
I was just playing. You said we got a little wild, had a little too much fun. How many beads did you get?
Funnily enough, there was a gay club across the street, and all these guys were coming out with all.
Too bad Dad was there. Y'all could have had a freaking great time.
Charlie wanted to go in there too, but her husband was with us, and
so was yours.
So what happened was, we were standing outside, and we started talking to this couple, and she's from Belize and he's from Atlanta. And that was a whole conversation that, you know how your dad is. He's able to just like talk to these people. They like gravitate towards him or something. Mm-hmm. And she just had a full on telling her entire life story to Dad.
People do be trauma dumping on my father like crazy.
Yeah. And
for some reason, I just feel like I've known you my whole life.
Yeah, that's exactly. I feel
the same way though.
Yeah. But we were out there, and I had actually videoed Not Sorry Charlie doing a interview with one of the guys there. And all of a sudden, this homeless guy came up. He had his hoodie over his face, and it was all closed up, mm-hmm. and he had his arms like this to where he could barely see anything. and he walked in between us. Now, Dad's 6'6", and then Charlie's husband is an intimidating looking guy too. He's got tattoos all over. I mean, even face tattoos. And so, no, I'm just saying.
I'm sorry.
And so all of a sudden, this homeless guy just comes right in the middle of us,
Really?
tries to grab her food, but he was actually trying to grab her purse, and Dad grabbed it immediately. Dad picked it up and grabbed it. And
People
yeah.
bold.
I mean,
Yeah.
if I saw somebody like your dad standing there, there is no way I would cause any trouble. Because this guy had no compunctions. He ended up stealing a bunch of purses. Dad ended up seeing him walking past us with other purses. So I
Did
don't
you get him?
Yeah, Dad didn't get him. No, we weren't.
Doesn't sound like Dad. Dad's normally like,
I know.
put him up.
I know.
Well, not that he fights. He doesn't fight.
He's the social justice, the justice for all.
He'll be the guy that if you're in a pinch, he got you.
Yep.
And if he sees anyone being taken advantage of, no matter who you are, he's got you.
And you want him to.
Oh, yeah. No, he's great. He's great.
Yeah. So that was our experience with the homeless. I cannot believe how now there's not nearly as many homeless people that we encountered as what I've seen online, but it was pretty bad. And
That's
the
really
smell,
sad, though.
the smell was terrible. Atlanta stinks so bad. It smells like urine.
That's really sad. I actually had a really positive interaction with a homeless man this week, actually. I guess it was about a week ago now, but yeah, no, it was actually on my birthday. I got a free pre-roll for my birthday. So I don't know. I saw a guy that was out on the side of the road, and I'm young, I'm small, and so sometimes I'm apprehensive to go up to people, not because I don't want to help, but like especially when I'm alone, I don't know. But this guy, for some reason, I felt like I need to go talk to him. So I just I pulled up, gave him the pre-roll, and I gave him like $10. I never have cash on me, it just happened to. I was like, made me feel good. He got real excited about that pre-roll though. He jumped for joy. He's like, yeah. His buddy that was across the street, he's like, look what I got. And it made me happy because I don't know. A lot of people use the excuse that, they're just gonna use it on drugs, but so will I. So here you go, let's party.
Don't ever go partying with any homeless people, please.
I have before.
You have?
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. But anyway. Don't look so concerned. It's okay, I promise. I had one living in my house for like a while.
Yeah,
it's his birthday today, actually.
Okay.
But anyway.
Okay, so we're going to go to another commercial break. It's time now. So I'm actually a few minutes over. So we're going to listen to Best Patriotic Song Ever, Mr. Red, White, and Blue.
Is that so? Is it really the best patriotic
Yeah, it's even
song
better.
ever?
I think it's better than Lee Greenwood's.
I'm proud to be
Yeah, I think it's better than that
American.
one, in my opinion. Okay, stay tuned and we'll be right back.
It's the guts and it's the glory. 100 stripes, 100 stories. It's the Pledge of Allegiance on the 4th of July. It's them handwritten letters from home. It's them sleepless nights alone. It's his newborn baby he left with his wife. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down, hear the line. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes. Hey. From the fields of Indiana to the swamps of Louisiana to the golden coast of California, Uncle Sam's the only family he's got. His purple heartbeat won't stop. And his 18th birthday was the day he was born. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down, hear the light. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, stand on the front line. Mr. Red, White, marching line, marching line. Hey. Hey.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Welcome back to Into the Weeds podcast here on Military Broadcast Radio. And we've been talking about my adventures in Atlanta for the Military Influencer Conference. And I did want to touch on one man that I did meet while at the conference. His name is Robert. I cannot remember his last name right now, but he is a man who wrote a book about the life and service of Milton Olive, the first African-American man to receive the Medal of Honor. And he actually, I believe, jumped on a hand grenade to save people's lives.
Wow. Well deserved. Well
Yeah.
deserved. The Medal of Honor.
Yeah.
That being not
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Robert himself has the Bronze Star and he has the Purple Heart.
Oh,
So
wow.
we're going to actually have him on here. I'm going to reach out. He's already agreed to be on. He wants Milton's story told.
Absolutely. me
And
too.
I would definitely love to tell that story. And so we're going to have him on. And I met a woman named Jane, who is a veteran service officer who is doing some really great things for veterans. I'm really proud of her and what she's done and accomplished for people. She's getting them their service-connected disability and their pay and everything. And she's very interesting. And I'm just so thankful that there are people like her out there doing that kind of work, because us veterans get screwed over all the time. VA math is not regular math. Technically, I have like 200% disability rating, but the VA only counts 90% of it because of their math. And
because they don't want to pay you.
Yeah. And I've been fighting them for 25 years. So,
and girl, let me tell you, I've been able to see it my whole life. She's been messed up. I mean, she's had like a few jobs here and there, but hasn't been able to have one since I was like, what was West Hernando the last job you were able to have?
Well, I mean, technically I was like,
and not counting youth ministry or children's ministry.
Talking about technically I was doing an internship and working at
FCC.
a church.
Yeah. You weren't getting paid though.
No, I wasn't getting paid, but I was technically working. It was an internship. So, yeah.
But yeah, no, either way though. And I mean, you were still, when you were in, not high school, when you were in college, you had to stay at home all the time. You're always sick. And, you know, yeah. I mean, it was for a variety of reasons. Maybe not 100% of it was, you know, service connected. There were a couple other things that were, you know, different, but
yeah, but at
most
the end
of it was service connected.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it was mostly the migraines that were causing me, and the back pain and the leg pain. But
also, before you got your hysterectomy, that was really bad. That was really bad.
Yeah.
So that was what I was thinking. That wasn't really service connected, or God, I don't know what service connected. Actually, did you know? To anyone who doesn't know, there is now a class action lawsuit against Pfizer for the depot shot. Apparently, the depot shot has been linked to causing brain tumors. And so if you've had a depot shot and you have a brain tumor, yeah, I don't know. And I've talked to some friends recently and they've said that they have like really bad migraines now, and they never had migraines before. And then I told them, I was like, I don't remember if we said this on here before, but I'm not laughing, but my dad, he has a brain tumor right now.
No, we didn't.
And
we've never told anybody.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know if I was supposed to say that.
It's fine.
Oh, my bad. I thought we had mentioned it, but he's okay.
Yeah,
he's fine. But he had told me that the main thing was like if his eyebrows started going really, really light. And I feel like that could be a good piece of information for somebody. Not that there aren't other things that make, you know, that are signs of a brain tumor. But apparently, anytime that your eyebrows start to turn a lighter color than the rest of your hair, or, you know, what they had always been before,
Mhm.
it's a very telltale sign of a brain tumor. So
Yeah, so
so
since
my bad for exposing
no,
stuff.
no, that's all right.
That's
Since
my bad.
Alora
My
told
bad.
everybody, I think the only
You
person
accidentally told everyone our last names
I know.
a couple times.
No, and I'm not
No.
upset that you
No,
said
I feel
anything about
bad.
Dad.
Sorry, Daddy, if you're watching. I wasn't trying to expose you.
No, it's nothing. It's nothing to be exposed about.
Yeah.
It's just not something that we want to harp on about. You know, 'cause
Yeah,
there's
that's
nothing
really
we can
all
do
to be
about it.
said. Like, there's no.
My husband has a meningioma, which is technically a brain tumor, I guess. It's the lining between the skull and the brain. And but luckily the MRI shows that there's no deterioration of the bone and there's no inflammation of the brain. So right now, he's going to go later on at the end of the month to have another scan to see what they find, and then
Fingers crossed.
yeah, it's a slow growing tumor, so it's probably been growing for a long time. But yeah, one of the symptoms that he really struggles with is memory loss and things like that.
Yeah, that is really sad.
Mhm.
Really, really sad.
So, anyways, we'll get back on to.
But he's fine.
Yes, he is
He's
fine.
fine.
He's fine,
And
and
projected to be fine for quite some time, if not
yeah,
just period, you know.
yeah, they haven't done any biopsies or anything like that, so we don't know. You know, we don't think it's cancerous or anything like that.
Not
But
likely. So
yeah,
we're all good. He's all good.
Yeah.
Everyone's good.
okay. So I just wanted to talk about that now. There is something. Okay, let me move over here. Getting to the pictures. Okay. So after my husband and I were done at the conference, we drove to Kentucky. And yeah, to Kentucky. We went to Bardstown, Kentucky, because one of the hosts here on MBR has a show called Bourbon and Ball, and they talk about bourbon and sports. And they wanted to partner with a bourbon brand, and so we went there to just kind of network and meet people. So it was in. It
Says Roku might not be streaming, but everything else probably is.
Oh, okay.
Oh well.
Yeah, StreamYard's is really weird. I don't know what's going on.
Hey, it's okay. We persist.
So what we did was, since we were going to be in that area, we decided to drive up to Bardstown, where the distillery is. And I was a little freaked out because I thought, wow, this is a beautiful place. I'm telling you what, the drive to this place
I mean, I see the horse and carriage and the houses.
The drive to this place was absolutely gorgeous. This is the brewery here. And then this is the downtown. But when I woke up that morning, I was like, hey, let me Google what Bardstown is known for. And to my surprise, it is known for a bunch of unsolved murders.
Oh.
Yeah.
Isn't
So
that
there's
something?
the murder of Krista Rogers, and then subsequently the murder of her father a few months later. Crystal's body was found, and I believe Tommy was actually preparing for a hunting trip.
Oof.
And got shot sniper style off of the Bluegrass Parkway. Crystal's car was found off of the Bluegrass Parkway. It's basically a highway that goes through Kentucky and through that area. It's absolutely gorgeous. And then we have, well, actually, let me say, Crystal Rogers went missing 4th of July weekend, 2015. Her car was found and abandoned on the Bluegrass Parkway. Her father, Tommy Ballard, shot and killed in a sniper-type situation while getting ready for hunting on November 19th, 2016.
Oh,
So,
just like a year later. So they don't know what happened to them at all?
well,
Or like
recently,
involved?
a man has been arrested, I believe.
For both of them?
I believe so, yes.
Wow.
Do
they know any personal connections? Were they buddies or enemies?
So I guess
lovers?
he was her former boyfriend or boyfriend at the time. I can't remember.
It's always the love or scorn.
Mm-hmm.
That's really sad.
but there might be a little bit more to the story. So there's also Samantha and Kathy Netherland, or Netherland. I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce that. But Kathy and Samantha Netherland on April 22nd, 2014. Kathy was 48 and Samantha was 16. They were found shot dead inside of their home, and no one has been arrested.
16?
Mm-hmm.
Was the father alive in the picture, or?
I don't know much about it. I just got a brief synopsis of it, and I'm actually going through a podcast
Talking
about all of the different murders, because there's a reporter in Louisville who did a podcast about it, and I'll try and find the information and put it in the description.
It's really sad.
Okay, and then we have Jason Ellis. He is a police officer, or was a police officer. He was ambushed. He was going home. He was off shift, just gotten off shift, had just told radio that he was going off.
Mm-hmm.
He comes on he's on the Bluegrass Parkway around exit 34, I believe. He sees stuff in the middle of the road, so he gets out and moves it and was shot. And his murder has still never been solved.
Wow.
But the man who was arrested in connection with Crystal and Tommy, I believe, was a police officer.
Oh, gross.
Yeah. And these three murders, Crystal, Tommy, and Jason, were all connected to the Bluegrass Parkway. They were all on it.
Think it might be related, or just saying that it's just...
I don't know. But
that is really sad, though. And, you know, I'm not a fan of the police, but there's no reason to just go out and start killing. It's not gonna solve the problems. If anything, it's gonna make the hostile police officers even more hostile, and it's just, unfortunately, not the way to deal with it, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, definitely not. And so, that's Jason Ellis. He left behind a wife and children, I believe. And
poor babies.
So we were in the distillery eating, which they had some really great Brussels sprouts. Oh my goodness. It's so weird.
Does this have anything to do with anyone that's passed away? The only reason why I'm asking is because we might just want to change, because I just feel I don't feel like you're being disrespectful, but you know what I mean. Just well,
I was just
sad.
I was gonna.
Gotcha.
Sorry. I was gonna say a little more. Okay.
Sorry, I just don't want to.
I was just saying that I was in the distillery eating, and the bartender, because we sat at the bar, because there was a bunch of people. She had a little bit of a moment, and I said, "Well, you know, I thought this was just the bourbon capital of the world and America's most beautiful small town." I said, but then when I went on Google, I got kind of freaked out, and she just kind of looked at me and then kind of just turned around and walked off. And I was like,
that's weird.
Yeah. And it was like, I don't know. I don't know if she just didn't want to talk about it or what. But
maybe she didn't hear you, or maybe she didn't want to small talk.
I
hate small talking with customers most of the time.
What I wanted to do actually was to go around to a few areas and ask some questions, just because I was there, and I was and I'm more interested in Jason Ellis and Samantha and Kathy Netherland, because their cases are unsolved. And Crystal and Tommy's is most likely solved, but we don't know yet.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, if anyone knows anything about these people, just 100% go out and say something.
Yeah, definitely. So I just wanted to bring that up. I just wanted to show everybody. I was like, oh my gosh, what the heck? I'm always running into stuff. And
unfortunately, people are murdered everywhere all the time. And it just is very, very
sad.
sad.
I know. Yeah. And one day I would like to talk about Athena Hogan's case here.
Yeah.
But I've been trying to wait to see if Detective Adams ever gets the information from the DNA evidence that was submitted. But
something tells me he wouldn't even reach out and tell you until after
Oh,
there
yeah.
was like a
yeah.
conviction. And that could still be a long time because when did she pass away? In the 80s?
Yeah, 86. I was 7 years old.
86. Wow.
Yeah.
Now, that is a very sad case. For anyone
Mhm.
who doesn't know, it was, well, I'm sure nobody really knows because nobody
Yeah.
knows about it, but
Mhm.
it's, Athena Hogan was, how old was she? Was she older
11.
than you? She was 11. She's an 11-year-old little girl. She went around in my mom's hometown,
Lawton, Oklahoma.
Lawton, Oklahoma, and was trying to sell candy bars for a school fundraiser. And she was never seen again. You know, there was somebody who was charged and ended up being cleared. I think he went through a trial and ended up being cleared, right?
Yeah, he was
He
acquitted.
went through a whole
Mhm.
trial and was cleared. And then there was another suspect, I believe,
Who actually found Tina?
who actually found Tina. And then which one was your cousin's?
The first one who found her, he was arrested shortly after because of the evidence that was found. But
Is that the one that was your
that
cousin's
my cousin's
husband's
no,
brother?
my cousin's boyfriend's brother,
Cousin's boyfriend's brother?
and they lived in the neighborhood too. But it turns out that it may have been the reason that he was arrested may have been because of me. I used to play hide and seek. I used to play hide and seek in his Volkswagen Beetle. In and out of it, I would walk up and down
But did they say anything about how like footprints in the car were why he was arrested?
Yes,
Or
that's
that
exactly
was the
why he
reason
was
why he was
arrested.
arrested?
That was exactly why he was arrested. And when it turned out to not be Tina's footprints,
They're like, oh shoot, I used to hang around and jump on his car all the time,
well,
like that.
yeah, well, what ended up happening is right after he was arrested, it was right around my grandma's birthday, and we were having a picnic,
Mhm.
and somebody mentioned that he was arrested, and they told me why he was arrested, and I remember just shaking uncontrollably,
Oh,
thinking I thought I was going to go to prison at 7 years
oh,
old
you
because
thought you were gonna get charged with it
Yeah.
because you're oh
yeah, so it was very
Oh.
traumatic. I probably have issues from it. Who knows?
I get it.
But yeah, so yeah, that's Bardstown. It's a beautiful, beautiful area. I mean, it's a place I would want to live. It's so pretty over there in that area. But
Kentucky.
it's beautiful.
You know what? It's gonna sound so silly, but at least at the time, I don't know if I've had better since, but at the time, the best Mexican food I'd ever had in my life was in Kentucky.
Ooh.
I was sitting in my room and my aunt was sitting in her room, and you know, I decided to order it in on DoorDash, and then she decided to, you know, walk down the street and go herself, and neither one of us told each other about it. So, you know,
What is that?
we
like?
didn't see each other once that whole day. Not one time until she called me and told me that she had gotten food, not asking me if I wanted to get food. No, I'm good, Grandma. I'm good, Aunt. You know, but we ate the same thing. Okay, it was pretty good, wasn't it? Oh, we both ate the exact same thing. Bet, yeah, it was delicious. Yeah, that's how that went.
Okay, well, we're gonna go to a commercial break.
Much love to my aunt. Much love to my aunt. That wasn't a diss. It was just
No, it wasn't.
it was a bad situation though, all around. She was going through stuff. I was going through stuff. So no.
So next, after the commercial break, we're going to come back and talk about something that is very fascinating to me. It's called the Cane Ridge phenomenon.
Haven't heard of it.
You haven't heard of it, but you should have heard about it because we took many classes about it, and I completely forgot about it until
You and I took
No,
many classes about it.
Dad and I took classes
So
about.
because you and Dad, I should know about it.
Hey, we should have extended the information to you at some point.
Well, clearly she didn't. Sorry, no, that's all good.
So, anyways, we're going to go to break, and we're going to play "Away with Words" by Matt Oakley.
You bet.
So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
She's from Alabama, I called her red-handed, drinking whiskey on Saturday night.
I can't imagine I'm overreacting, she's losing her mind. I met her mama and told her about her problems, how it's happened now a couple of times. And girl, I'm sorry, I'll be gone by the morning, cause you ain't the marrying type. Well, she's got a way with words and I know it hurts, so boy, just protect your pride. And girl, that's the way it works, and we ain't the first ones tricked by the morning light. So we came up, make love, then we take some, stay up, wake up all the neighbors. Yeah, I swore I was done with her, but she's got a way with words. Yeah, she's got a way with words, and I swore I was done with her, but she's got a way with words. I wasn't honest, if I'm being honest, I fed her a couple of lies. And now she's calling me, going on and on about another guy. So I take the bottle off the counter and I pour one. She's the only reason that I always gotta pour up. And ain't it funny that I bought the bottle for us? I'm the only one who's drinking now, baby. Well, she got away with words and I know it hurts, so boy, just protect your pride. And girl, that's the way it works, and we ain't the first ones tricked by the morning light. So we came up, make love, then we take some, stay up, wake up all the neighbors. Yeah, I swore I was done with her, but she's got a way with words. Yeah, she's got a way with words, and I swore I was done with her, but she's got a way with words. Yeah, I swore I was done with her, but she's got a way with words.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Hello and welcome back to Into the Weeds podcast here on Military Broadcast Radio. We were talking about my trip to Atlanta, and we went from Atlanta to Chattanooga and then to Kentucky. And boy, I tell you what, it's a beautiful country out there. So my husband and I decided while we were in Kentucky, there was a place that we had always wanted to go. And it was the Cane Ridge Meeting House.
Okay.
So both my husband and I went to college at Florida Christian College, which ended up turning into Johnson University of Florida. They actually have the main campus in Tennessee. But
The second one's not even open anymore.
yeah, I know. They just closed it.
And I grew up there. It makes me real sad.
I know.
We lived there for a while.
It's depressing, actually, to know that school's no longer
Yeah.
there. So anyways, while my husband and I were there, we learned, okay, so for context, we're part of, I guess, churches that are part of the Restoration movement. And basically it was a movement to go back to the Bible and get away from all the creeds and the dogma and all of the liturgy and stuff like that that was around for so long. And interestingly enough, it had the revival and the whole movement kind of came about because of this phenomenon that happened. So at Cane Ridge, there was a man named Barton Stone who was preaching there. He had been a Presbyterian, and when he got there, he had a pretty small congregation. And then something started happening. And I'm not going to go into all the details right now because I actually want to do a really big episode on this one because it's so interesting and fascinating. But what happened is eventually a lot of slaves started coming to his church.
Okay.
And they actually would sit up here in the balcony. They would sit up here in the balcony, and then that's the altar or the whatever, the pulpit.
Right.
So yeah, the slaves would sit up there, and it was one of the only places that slaves were welcome. Yeah.
That's
So
something,
so the
for
slaves
sure.
were very in tune with what was going on in that area, and then all of a sudden something happened, which is called the Cane Ridge phenomenon.
Yeah.
And I'm not exactly sure how it started, but basically a bunch of people started getting excited about God and wanted to tell everybody about it. And then people from over 200 miles away, now this was in 1801, over 200 miles away in covered wagons drove there with their family,
Mhm.
not knowing what they were going to get into. Or, can you imagine going 200 miles in a covered wagon to a revival? Because, I mean, who knows if you're even ever going to be able to get back to your home? That's
Mhm.
a long ways away for people
Horse and
back then.
buggy and stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
The heat or the cold.
Yeah. So what happened though is 30,000 people showed up to this place
Wow.
in 1801. That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people, especially back then, yeah.
Yeah. And so what happened is something started stirring in the audience, or not in the audience, but in the congregation.
Yeah.
And people started jerking and twitching, and they would literally, it was like they had
Like speaking in tongues?
kind of like that, but not. This was something
Okay.
different. They were actually straight on the ground, like they were standing straight up and down. And then all of a sudden their bodies would contort to where their entire head would go down completely to the ground, and their foreheads would touch, or the back of their head would go completely onto the ground. They were like twitching and jerking, and it was crazy.
I'll let you finish, but that doesn't sound like any work or something that would be in a church.
No, I know that. Okay, but then it like started getting even crazier. They were like singing and praising God, and there
Okay.
was like this light coming out of their chests.
Okay.
There was all kinds of weird stuff, and it's called the Cane Ridge phenomenon.
Is there any record of proof that it
Yes,
actually
there-
happened?
yeah,
Like,
there is.
Like literally happened?
Yeah, there's all kinds of documents and stuff from.
There's like pictures and stuff though.
It was 1801.
So, yeah, so I mean, I'm not trying to sound skeptical, but at the same time, like we know
Okay.
for a fact.
Well, I had even forgotten that this had even happened.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm not trying to be any certain type of way. I'm just asking questions.
Yeah,
is
no.
all.
No, so basically what happened is a lot of people nowadays think that it was the work of the devil or
I mean,
whatever.
it sounds like that to me.
Yeah. At first, that's what I thought too. But then when you start hearing about the story and you start hearing about all of the paperwork and the documents and stuff that were left behind, these people were doing something.
Sounds like it, yeah.
They were changing people's lives. They were making people's lives better. The slaves were taken into consideration now. They were a part of the community instead of just in the fringe of the community.
Well, that is a good outcome for
They
that.
were about abolitionists and stuff like that after that. And I can't convey to anybody what it was really like until I actually do the research. But from what I understand, it was extremely powerful, whatever it was. And I want to talk more about it, but I don't want to get into the weeds because I don't have enough solid, concrete information in front of me to talk about it. But I want to do a whole episode about it someday, especially since we talk about paranormal and things like that. I think it's extremely fascinating.
It sounds very interesting, but a little sus.
Oh, yeah. I mean, everything is sus until you look into it and come to your own conclusions. But
yeah. I think that certain things are possible, but I feel like it's a lot more rare for mass things involving multiple people to take place. But what do I know? I'm nobody. I don't know anything.
Well, there have been a
I'm
few.
not opposed to believing that crazy things happen.
Yeah, there have been a few instances of mass what's that called?
Hysteria or
Mass hysteria, but
hallucination,
it's also
mass psychosis, or
the fool of two, or the folly of two.
folia do.
Yeah, that thing. So I don't know,
Okay.
but it'll be interesting to look over all of the documents and talk to a few people who know more about the whole
Madness
situation.
for two, folia do. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Madness for
Okay.
two. It's when two people are affected. Yeah, I know what you're
Mhm.
talking about now. It's also a Fall Out Boy album.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the only reason why I even thought about folia do.
Okay.
Probably said like that, but I
Mhm.
don't know how to pronounce anything.
So basically, that's what it was. Is this phenomenon that happened where lights was coming out of people's chests? They were shaking and moving, and kind of not unsimilar to the Pentecostal movement, but way different.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and say
Yeah.
anything about anybody's religions, but that's a little interesting to me.
Yeah. So, and I find it even more interesting the fact that, well, you've been in our churches. There's
Yeah.
nothing like that that would ever,
No. Although I went to one Pentecostal church a couple times, although they weren't like openly Pentecostal, they were kind of like on the DL Pentecostal. And I'm not trying to say that for any reason. They just weren't Pentecostal presenting. I think they
Mhm.
called themselves like a different kind of denomination. But anyway, I had a couple friends that went there, and one of them was way too old for me to be hanging out with at the time, and his brother was even weirder and older.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, no, so I went there a lot, and yeah, I got to see a little bit of the speaking in tongues, and I got to see a little it was less common, but I only went to like the youth service.
Mhm.
But yeah, I saw some speaking in tongues and a lot of like, standing up and like just, not speaking in tongues, but just talking with the preacher, and
Mhm.
that was very different from what I grew up with for sure. But
Mhm.
it's got its own charm.
Okay, I was just trying to figure this out.
You're doing something for sure.
Yeah, I know. I'm doing all kinds of things. Okay. So anyways, I just wanted to
Okay, there you
show one more or a couple more pictures.
Yeah.
So my husband and I went, we saw the Kentucky Castle. I guess it's in Versailles, Kentucky. It was really cool. They had one opening for dinner, but it was way too late and we wanted to get going. So we ended up eating about an hour away. And it was the best duck I've ever had in my life. It was so good.
That's good. That's good.
The fat lamb, I think, is what it's called.
I haven't had any really good. Oh, no, I had some good Thai food the other day. I haven't had any really good food in a minute other than that.
Yeah, I was actually surprised that I didn't run into a lot of good food in Atlanta.
Really?
I
think
must.
they have a lot of stuff. Were there any like Southern kitchens or anything?
Yeah, but I can't eat half of the crap. So
You couldn't eat the wheat bun?
yes, but I definitely can't eat like
Pork or,
pork and milk, like heavy milk and stuff like
Yeah.
that. It's
Yeah.
one thing if it's just a little bit, but it's another thing if it's fully,
the whole thing.
Yeah,
Like you're not trying to be served up some
EpiPen.
no, you don't want to get some like barbecue mac and cheese or something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that would not be good for me. So yeah, that's where we went. That's what I did this week. I also want to, before I forget, I want to shout out Mark, DJ Plato, on our music side of the app. We actually, my husband and I got to listen to him for hours last night on our way home. We ended up getting home at 4:00 this morning.
Yeah, and you scare the crap out of me.
But Mark kept us entertained, and we requested songs all night. And
there you go.
He was playing some really great music. Last night it was actually all about Halloween themed music.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You know what? I went to a Halloween party like a few years ago, and they had my ex's roommate. She created the playlist, and she had like the best Halloween playlist I've ever heard in my life. It was great.
He was playing some really good music last night. Okay, so that's basically it for tonight. I mean, we've got 3 interviews coming up.
Yes,
Monday we have Jennifer Backstrom, who is the mother of Teron Evans. We're going to do a recorded episode with her, and I'm going to be doing that tomorrow. Alora will not be there because she's going to be at work, I believe.
Tomorrow?
Oh, do you not work tomorrow?
What time is it?
It's at like 1 or 11 or something like that.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I told you that. You don't go into your calendar and look at the
I don't,
interviews.
but never mind.
You don't go in.
Just called me out.
And then we've got Jack Merrill, who is actually a family friend of ours who has written a book. And then
I won't be there for that one either.
Yeah. And then I don't even know if you'll be there for the Ian Murray one. These are all this week, 3 of them, and they're all going to be recorded.
Are they early in the morning?
You might be there.
I get off.
You might be there for the Ian Murray one. I'm not sure.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so we've got 3 very interesting and exciting shows coming up. And stay tuned. That
means I'm going to be showing up to the house probably in the middle of your first interview.
That's all right. We'll figure it out.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyways, we thank you everybody so very much for joining us. And StreamYards is having a lot of issues.
Yeah, I don't know what the problem
I don't know
is.
what's going on, but a lot of things have come back as not being able to be loaded.
So hopefully this has found you well.
Yes. Yeah, we hope you have a very blessed night and that you do something wonderful to make the world a better place.
Or don't.
I hope you do.
I hope you do. Make up for my lack. No, I'm just kidding.
So we thank you everybody for joining us here at Into the Weeds on Military Broadcast Radio. And have a wonderful week.
Bye.
Bye. As soon as I find...
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast.